All right, so let's go 3 things that you should really consider when it comes to child training and youth development in terms of sports and athleticism. First one, well, before we say anything, this is to all the parents out there who think, oh, I don't want my kid lifting weights. I've heard all this. This is an old myth. It's been well and truly busted. Just Google it. All the research is out there. Don't worry about it. So it's the same parents who would say, no weights, but I want my kid to do jumping and running and hard training. The loads will be far more that they would get in a competitive practice than they would under the controlled environment of a gym. Number 1 is to think about the long-term youth development. And the research is clear in this sense in that don't specify too soon. As for example, if you want your kid to be a great basketball player, his strength training shouldn't be about basketball. It shouldn't be all jumping and leaping and changing direction. It should be a combination of working on lots of different skills that make the great overall athlete, like balance, coordination, speed, movement, motor unit, patterns, all this kind of stuff. These are the most important things to focus on, not the individual sport. Later on, when those skills are acquired, it makes a much easier transition and a much better athlete. Another thing to consider is basically choosing the correct coach. And it's important to get a coach that knows their stuff, a coach that knows the difference between basically training and practice, skill acquisition and movement, a coordinated movement as opposed to movement just for the sake of movement. Also the difference between conditioning and overworking. Finally, the last thing is basically the overall goal should be to improve performance and reduce the risk of injury. I mean this in terms of what they do for session preparation, the session content, the loads that they use, and also the cool down and recovery kind of protocols. And also the aim is obviously to produce performance and improve the child athlete, but also keep them healthy for long term and not risk not have an increased risk of injury long term because of the choices they make as a child when they're still developing. That's it, 3 simple rules, essential.